Alright, what is up, everyone? Today we will be going over can't pass an eval, quote unquote. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you can't pass an eval. You're struggling to get through that evaluation stage. Maybe you haven't even started trying to pass an eval and you're back testing currently, or whatever it may be, right? You're just struggling with kind of getting that profit target, okay? This is going to be an amazing video for you. I'm going to go over everything that I personally do to pass evals, what I originally did to pass evals, and what I recommend to people in different stages of trading to pass evals. So to get started, I'll give you a little bit of my backstory, why I was struggling to pass evals, right? I was just like all you guys. I couldn't pass an eval for shit. I would hop on the charts, buy an evaluation, fail it. Buy another evaluation, fail it. I literally, one day, I remember I was sitting there, and I bought literally maybe 5 to 10 evaluations in one day, blew them all, didn't pass a single one, and I just went over to my bed, started beating the shit out of my pillow and screaming. I'm sure probably everyone's been there, right? So from that point, I was like, okay, I need to change something. I need to figure something out. Something's not working here. And I think the reason I was struggling in that point so much is because I just wanted to pass the eval. I was daydreaming. Every night I'd sleep and go, oh my God, I can't wait to pass the evaluation. Or every single day, it was just me thinking about passing the eval. When in reality, that is not how you should be thinking at all. That is not how you should not even be thinking about passing the eval. It shouldn't even be a question in your mind. It should just be, I know I'm going to pass the eval. How can I get paid out? That's what you need to be telling yourself to move forward through the process, okay? Before I get started, I want to say something. Prop firms, they are a business. They are not here to help you. They are not here to pay you. They are here to make money off of you. Remember that. They want your money. They don't want to give you money, okay? So when you look at how to make money in trading, there's 2 ways. You can go funded or you can go live account. If you go live account, you're putting your own money at risk, and everyone knows the story about that. You can make your own money, pull it out the same day, whatever it may be. Or if you're on the funded account, which a lot of people are, and I personally myself am, I just believe it's the better route once you figure out how to do it, because you save a lot of money, you're not risking any money, you're just simply buying the account and getting paid out. Versus the other way, right, the funded account. The stage of evaluation is there for you to not pass. You're not supposed to pass. You're not supposed to get to the point where you can pull money out of the charts. And that's what you need to realize. These prop firms are here to screw you. Yes, if you get paid or if you get to a payout, they will pay you. Almost every prop firm, as long as you follow the rules, will pay you. But there's a reason there are some strict rules on these prop firms, right? Because they're there to screw you over. That's what you need to remember. So let's talk about just the evaluation phase, right? These stages are here to screw you over. These stages are here to mentally block you from getting to your payout. They're there to add this process of your funding or of your profitable journey to just screw you over. And it sounds crazy, but it's the honest truth, okay? If you look at how prop firms go, right? You get to the evaluation, then you get to the funded stage and start getting paid out. Well, let's go ahead and split that into 2 categories. Most of you guys maybe are still paper trading. You're not even on the eval phase yet. But I guarantee maybe 75% of you guys are probably in that eval stage. And you're like, I can't pass, it sucks. And you're just trying to learn how to pass an eval. Well, you're screwing yourself over as we speak. Because if you are someone who, you buy an eval, you go onto your eval, it's your first day on the eval, and you get nervous to trade your eval, you have a lot of things we need to change. There's a lot of things internally and mentally that you must fix, because now think about it like this. Maybe it's your first or 100th time, whatever it may be, getting onto an eval and you still get nervous. And now when you get to the funded stage, what do you think your emotions are going to be like then? How nervous do you think you'll be when you get to the funding stage? It's going to be a whole different ball game, and I can tell you that from experience. I remember before I was getting consistently funded, before I was getting consistent payouts, I would get onto my eval, I'd pass my eval, and then I would get onto the funded and I'd be shitting bricks. I wouldn't want to take trades. I would take bad trades, or I would lose one trade, then go on tilt, or all these little things, right? That I was like, oh, I'm really good at passing evals. Like I can just hop onto the funded stage and I'll just get paid out. When in reality, now that I've went through a whole 3 to 6 month journey of trying to pass evals, yes, I was good at passing evals, but now I have a whole nother stage to conquer. I have this whole stage of, now I got to get used to real money. I got to get used to possibly getting paid out. I got to get used to all these things. And now that's going to add another 6 months to your process, okay? This is what I'll tell you guys. And it's in simple terms. If you're backtesting, you have a profitable strategy, and you know what you're doing, do not sit on an eval for a week. Don't sit on an eval for a month. Don't sit on an eval for a couple months. Make it a week-long process at the most, okay? A lot of people are like, bro, why do you like Apex Trader Funding? Why do you like so-and-so? I think Apex Trader Funding is one of the best firms because they are one of the firms that allows you to just boot the eval process out of the way. And I'll get into this later, but if you're trading and working a job that is the perfect scenario. If you're not working a job, I'm going to talk about that very soon. But if you do have some sort of capital, wait till a 90% sale comes up on Apex or even Alpha Futures, one of these really good sales, and go ahead and take advantage of this. The reason I choose Apex over Alpha is because you can spend with the 90% $18 on an eval. 18, okay? $18 to some of you could be a lot, to most of you might not be really too much, and I'd hope it wouldn't be too much, but you can simply get rid of the eval face. You can buy 10 $18 accounts. It's 180 bucks. Guarantee if you're full porting half of those, you're gonna simply pass maybe 5 to 6 to maybe even pass 2 accounts. Okay, if you pass 2 accounts, that would be equivalent to you buying 3 top set accounts or 3 My Fun Futures accounts or 3 alpha accounts, whatever it may be, right? That is equivalent, and you just were able to instantly pass just like that. And that's on the very bare minimum. I would hope if you buy 10 accounts, you'd at least pass 2, but you could pass even more for 180 bucks. And that sounds like an amazing deal to me, but then obviously there's the activation fee, and then blah, 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 right? But with Apex, you can pass in 1 day, 1 trade. So the eval phase is completely cut out. You immediately, the next day, as soon as you pass, you are onto the funded stage, and you're getting used to it, and you're starting to trade real money going for those payouts. That's what a lot of you guys need to start dialing in on. Now, again, I mentioned Alpha Futures. Alpha Futures also has a 0 account where you can essentially just pass in 1 day. It's kind of like the same Apex rules. Unfortunately, the max payout is only $1,500 instead of $2,000, but it's still a great deal. There is no activation fee, so you're paying anywhere from like 50 to 80 bucks to just try the evaluation, which is why it's not as good of a deal, but it's still very good offer, and I think it's one of the best ones. So in my opinion, the firms that allow you to pass in 1 day, 1 trade are going to be your best bets for a beginner trader. And I'm now still an advanced trader, and I still do this to this day. Now, I did just pass a bunch of My Fun Futures accounts. If you know My Fun Futures, you cannot pass in 1 day on the core plan. So what is my recommendation for that? Relatively the same thing. Instead of full porting, you're going to half port or quarter port. Okay, so you're going to put in, if the max drawdown is $2,000, you're going to go for $500 to $1,000 in risk to make $1,500. Because if you know the consistency rule, you can only make $1,500. So therefore, what you're going to do is you're going to go very heavy size. You're going to go very heavy size on an A+ setup, knowing exactly what you want, your exact model. Heavy size it, go for a really good setup, and boom, now you're halfway to passing the eval. All you have to do is just wait for a really good setup again the next day or the day after, and go for that same exact thing, and boom, now you're onto the funded stage. So instead of doing these evals where you're making a couple $100 a day or like $500 a day, go for those big wins. Go for that 50%. Go for whatever it may be. Now, that's not financial advice. I don't want you guys just being like, oh, Andrew told me to go full port. Andrew told me to do this. Well, this is only if you have experience. If you have experience and you know what you're trading, don't spend your time wasting time on evals. Just get to it, get to the funded stage, and let's get you paid out. That's the whole point of that, okay? Now, this leads me into what I was talking about before. Trading is a very difficult thing alone. It's already just a difficult thing if you're trying to make money. It's another ball game if you are not having an consistent income as we speak. If you're trying to trade without a job and you're trying to make trading a job, I promise you it is going to be 1,000 times harder than the person with a job. Think about it like this. You guys might resent a 9-to-5. I was the same way. I still to this day have never worked a job. I've only done jobs that I've started myself. I've only done businesses I've started myself. I've never been employed, and I never will. That's my lifetime goal. I am going to die on I will never be employed. Now, being a CEO of a company is a different story. Being like a head executive is a different story. But for the main point is I don't ever want to be enslaved by someone else. I want my time to be my time, and I choose to do what I want with it. Now, a lot of you guys are like, oh, that's the dream. But unfortunately, if you are struggling with trading and you want trading to be your outlet of money, it is going to be really hard with just putting your savings into trading, okay? You need some sort of consistent income. Even if it's just working at McDonald's a couple hours a day for a week or whatever it may be, just to get that couple extra $100, right? That will hold you over. As I said earlier, if you are waiting for that 90% on Apex or even 80%, it's still a really good deal. You just take what you did that day. If you're really dedicated about trading, obviously, if you're in the position where your parents can cover bills for you, or you're in the position where you don't have to pay for everything, and I'm assuming if you're in that position, you're trading, you already don't work, but if you're in the position where you have to pay for everything, obviously do it logistically and do it smartly. But if you're in the position where you don't have to pay for too much, you're just saving money, get a job, get a very easy job that's not in the hours of trading, work a couple hours a day, very simple, or start your own business, whatever you want to do. Have some sort of side income, so then when you go to buy that $20 eval or you go to buy that $40 eval, it is just you saying, okay, this is what I worked for today. Now this is what I'm going to invest back into myself, and I know eventually it will play out. That's exactly how you need to think about trading. You don't need to think about it as, shoot, I only got a $500 left in my savings account, like trading better work out, I better get this payout. No, that's just going to add even more emotion to what you already have. And I hope you can realize that. Think about it, right? If you have $10,000 in your bank account and you're investing in evals, a $20 eval is not going to be much, right? But if you have $500 to your name, you're going to do anything and everything you can to keep investing in evals so you can get that payout to grow your income, right? So that's what I hope you guys can realize from that is, like, you don't, like, if you're trying to get in trading, don't make it your main income. Have some sort of side income so it can fund your trading to get you to where you want to be. Simple as that. It's not that hard. Now, let's go back to passing evals, right? I was talking about how you should full port, half port, whatever it may be that you want to do. You cannot do any of that if you don't have a strategy. Moosin's in here. Moosin's one of my one-on-one students, guys. Moosin has a great strategy. He doesn't really use the piece of the pie model. He uses kind of a similar strategy, right? But it's a little bit different. But it's a great strategy. I've seen it work time and time again for you, Moosin. And this is a direct message to you, I guess. If you have a good strategy, either Moosin, get a job so you have some sort of income so you can like basically fund your trading, or go in and just grow some balls. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously I'm not saying that offensively, but just start going a little bit heavier size so you can just get to that funded stage. You can just get to that funded stage and you can start going. And this is to anyone who's in that same position. If you have the position where you know a strategy works, you know something is going for you, but you can't seem to just get to that funded stage, or you can't seem to get a payout, start letting your balls hang a little bit and full port that bitch, half port that bitch, and start passing within a week. Very simple. That way, the next week or the next couple days, you're onto the funded stage and you're just ready to go. You're locked in and you just start following your rules from there. Obviously, when you're on the funded stage, don't full port, don't half port. That's ridiculous. When you're on the funded stage, do what you've been doing in back testing, or do what you've been doing that has worked for you in the past or in the present, and just keep going at that until you are paid out. It's very, very simple. That's exactly what I did, okay? More backstory for you guys. I was struggling to pass evals. This is like early freshman year. This is about maybe a year ago and a couple months. I'm struggling to pass evals. I just like can't do it. I'm with Top Step. I'm with My Funded Futures, where you got to pass in a couple days. And I see that you can pass an eval in one day, and my mind is blown. I'm like, oh my God, no freaking way. You can pass in one trade? Like, this is ridiculous. What do I do that exact day? Buy 5 top or Apex evals, pass 2 of them. I have this little, I'll have to send it in the chat later, but it's a Snapchat memory of me going, oh my fucking God, I just passed 2 evals. At that point, I maybe passed 8 evals and blew them all the same day, okay? So I'm like, wow, I just actually passed like an eval that fast. Like, I'm going to be funded tomorrow. This is insane. I could possibly get a $4,000 payout if I do what I'm supposed to. And right there, that was my turning point in trading. That was literally my turning point in trading, because as I said, I spent 6 months learning the eval phase, when that's a waste of freaking time. You don't need to do that, okay? Now, from that point, it took me 2 months, 3 months to learn the funded stage, even though, because technically, right, when you're learning the eval stage, it's really the same thing as funding. It's just you don't have the same emotions as you do when you are on the funded account. You're on the eval stage, but you know none of this is going to pay you back. So it's like you hit the $3,000 mark and you're like, oh, whatever. Like, now I got to do it again. Like, it kind of mentally screws with you because you don't actually get any return out of that, right? You get a little certificate, good for you, but that doesn't do anything for you, right? A payout, when it hits your bank, that does something for you. So obviously, as I said, you do learn in the eval stage, but when you get to the funding stage, it's a whole nother ball game. You have so many different emotions, and from that point, it took me about 2 months to just get used to the emotions, and from that point on, I was getting consistent payouts every single fucking month, and to this point, I still have, okay? Very simple. I just simply skipped the eval phase, and that's how I still think. I think I want to get through the eval phase as fast as possible. If I'm adding funding, I'll just literally buy an account one day, pass it one day, fail it one day, is what it is, and I move on to the next day, and I either have an extra 50K funded or I don't. Very simple. It's that easy, okay? I don't waste time on evals. I don't spend a week on evals. I don't spend a month on evals. I get through it, get to the funded stage, and boom, I'm good to go, and I can be getting paid out within 2 weeks, okay? Very simple. And that's what hopefully you guys can learn from this video is, yes, you could be someone who's still learning their model. You could be someone who's still trying to figure things out for themselves. But if you're on the more advanced side and you know you have a model that works, you've back tested it, you've seen that you have results, then this is your sign to go all in. This is your sign. If you don't have a job and you're running low on capital, get a job, start investing in yourself, and boom, eventually it'll play out and you will be getting paid out very soon, within easily a couple months of watching this video, if you've done what you've had to in the past. Now again, if you're completely new, hop on FX Replay, hop on a backtesting software, start making sure your strategy can actually make you $3,000 without like losing a whole bunch, right? Basically simulate your funded stage. Hop on an eval, see if you can make 3,000 without losing 2,000. If you can do that consecutively a couple times, then most likely you have something that works for you. And if you do, boom, now you go into the stage I just talked about. But again, if you don't have a strategy, you don't have an A+ setup, do not go full porting evals, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to be a new trader. You're going to be like, oh, Andrew told me to full port. You full port. Maybe you pass, maybe you fail. If you pass, now you have this fake, what would be the word? You kind of have this, like, it's like fake results, I guess, or I can't think of the word right now, but it's basically you don't actually have the skill set to get to where you need to be, but you think you do, right? And so you're going to pass that eval if you're a brand new trader. You're like, oh my God, Andrew's so right. Yeah, misconceptions, that's a good word. You're going to basically think that you can do all this, and you pass an eval, get lucky, and then boom, you get to the funded stage and you blow that bitch within a day. Okay, so that's what you need to realize. If you don't have something that works, figure out something that works and then go all in on it. If you have something that works, go all in, see how it goes for you. And if you still struggle, then take a step back and analyze your trading in your life, and then recoup and go back at it again. Very simple. That's what I would recommend. If I was restarting my trading, I would spend 3 to 6 months back testing literally every day, paper trading, forward testing. I would do everything to make sure I have a really freaking good model. Then I'd literally I would probably be working the 3 to 6 months. I would be working every day, just stacking up bread. And then after that 6 months, I would put all my money into funding accounts. I'd maybe I'd do like a budget. Maybe I'd say, okay, I have like $300 to spend this week, and however many fundeds I pass that week, then I just don't spend any money. If I pass some fundeds, I go to the next week. And if I blow those fundeds, then boom, I have another $300 to spend. But if I have those fundeds, I will trade them all the way until they're either blown or paid out. And then I'd repeat that process over and over and over and over again. Okay? That's exactly what I do, and I feel like that's a good wrap for the video. Okay, the message of this video is just go all in and do not hold yourself back. Remember, prop firms are there to screw you. The eval stage is there to screw you. You need to get to the funding stage as fast as possible. So therefore, it is a real market for you, and you can have real results if you do quote unquote pass the eval. A mentality I would have for if you're going into that, like if you have eval experience and you're going into just, all right, I'm going to do what Andrew says. If you're going into then that funded experience, take what you've learned from the evals, treat the evals, treat the fundeds like how you've been treating the evals, right? Most of you guys have been risking small amounts, maybe risking $200, $500, right? To make like 500, a couple $100 or even $1,000, right? Do what you've been doing on that eval stage into the funded stage, and boom, it's that easy, right? Because let's put two people together. You have Johnny and you have Jim. Johnny has spent his whole week, right? They have the same exact trading model. They trade the same exact way. They take the same exact trades. Johnny risks $200 on his eval, and he passes by the end of the week. So therefore, Johnny has made $3,000 by the end of the week. Jim, on the other hand, first day, Monday of that week, he passed the eval same day. Now on Tuesday, he's ready to go. Now, Jimmy, okay, or whoever I said, he made $3,000 on his eval by the end of the week, and congratulations, he passed. But the other guy, on the other hand, he passed the first day, and then he passed the quote-unquote eval, making $3,000 profit by the end of the week. Who's in the better situation? The dude who passed the eval the first day, and now he's getting paid out at the end of the week, versus the other guy, he took it slow, he now passes eval, sucks to suck, he now has to spend another week to get the payout if he even does. So I hope that kind of puts in perspective on like why I trade that way, and why maybe you guys should try and do the same. Again, only do it if you have a strategy, and I feel like that should help you guys a good bit to getting paid out and just furthering your experience in trading and continue to go at what you want in life. So with that being said, thank you guys for the video. Thank you guys for coming. I'm going to answer your question in 1 second. YouTube, I'll see you guys soon. Like and subscribe, and there'll be more videos like this. Deuces.